What's going on? This is the AskASwimPro show. We are in the Detroit studio. My name is Ksebati, co-founder and CEO of MySwimPro, and I have a special guest, Martin Dober, Managing Director of Invest Detroit Ventures.
Hi Ferris, good to see you.
What's going on? How you doing?
Good, I'm doing great.
I'm doing well, and this is an exciting episode. Normally we have Olympic swimmers, leaders in the aquatic industry, and today we have leaders in the investment community here in Michigan, here in Detroit. Why don't you start out by telling us a little bit about yourself and tell us about Invest Detroit and Invest Detroit Ventures.
Sure, well I'm, as you said, Managing Director of Invest Detroit Ventures. We are the venture team of a broader organization called Invest Detroit. And we invest in startup companies in Michigan. So one of our investments is in MySwimPro. We've been investing in companies since 2008, and we've actually invested in over 110 companies, all startup technology companies in Michigan. I've been with the organization for 5 years, and we're very active investors. We're doing 1 or 2 new deals every month, so seeing a lot of deal flow right now.
Awesome. And I guess if we rewind, first investment in MySwimPro, our company, was 2 years ago, 2017. Yep. So I guess when you're evaluating a company, what are some of the things that you're looking for that make it attractive, and what are some of the things that you saw in our company when 2017? Absolutely.
Probably the most important thing is team. That's what we found to be the most critical factor in evaluating a company. A good team can build a great company from maybe technology that can build it into something that's meaningful. Where we found that investments that haven't worked out so well for us is if it's a technology company with great technology but not a team behind it. So what we saw with MySwimPro was a great team. You guys are very capital efficient. You've been able to build a user base with a small amount of capital, and what we're impressed with is the user growth that you've demonstrated, as well as the potential to get into a new markets, which is what we're going to be talking about later, and then just doing it in a very capital efficient way and reaching cash flow break even in a really short period of time. So that's certainly one of the reasons why we've decided to continue to invest, is just how capital efficient you guys have been and how you've been able to just really generate good numbers in terms of user growth.
Cool. So maybe I can talk about MySwimPro. And
yeah, why did you start MySwimPro?
Yeah, awesome. So my background as a swimmer and coach, I grew up in the sport of swimming, fell in love with it, and I started coaching swimming really early. I've actually been coaching the sport for about 10 years, and one of the things that I noticed as a coach was a lot of swimmers didn't have access to getting that personalized coaching experience, whether it was because they couldn't afford it, they didn't have access to it. If you want to hire a personal coach, it can be really expensive. Master's programs are typically only offered at certain times of the day. It's not as easy as going to like an LA Fitness, where you can just hire a personal coach or drop into a spinning class or a yoga class or something like that. So I really started to see this challenge that a lot of swimmers had. They were messaging me, "Hey Ferris, I'm training for a triathlon. Can you send me a workout plan?" And the aha moment for me to actually start MySwimPro was when I had a triathlete approach me after a workout, and she said, "Ferris, I'm training for this triathlon. I'm going out of town. Can you send me a training program that's personalized for me so that I can keep training while I'm away from this program?" And she offered to pay me for it. And when someone offers to give you money to do something that I love and seemed really easy in my mind to be able to provide this kind of value, it got me thinking, there's probably a lot of other people who have the same challenges that she has. They don't have access to a coach. They want a personalized workout, but they don't know how to get to it. And at the time, and still today, all the different technologies were not for swimmers. They were for, weight training, yoga, meditation. There's all these different apps that can provide this kind of coaching value, but there was nothing for swimmers. So this was back in 2014, 2015. So, I started doing a lot of customer discovery, doing a lot of market research, trying to figure out just how big this problem was and, how it could be solved. And I wasn't really thinking, I'm going to build a technology company. It was, how do I solve this problem and how can I help more people through the sport of swimming, which I love. So if we fast forward to the middle of 2015, with my two co-founders, we launched our first app for Android and then on iOS. And it was basically trying to create that personal coaching experience through a mobile app. So you could have a coach, wherever you were, you're traveling, you can pull up a workout really simply. And at the time, it was free in 2015, and we built a premium subscription business model in 2016, and we grew our subscriber base to where it is today. And along the way, we added different wearable technologies. So, initially it was just an iPhone and Android app. In 2016, we launched an Apple Watch app. It was the first swimming app for the Apple Watch, and that was named by Apple as the best app of 2016.
That's right. You guys were highlighted, weren't you?
We were highlighted in Tim Cook's keynote presentation in 2016, which was pretty crazy. We have a slide on that, which we'll get to shortly. And then we added more wearables. So we added Wear OS by Google, so Android Wear in 2017. We added a Fitbit native application, so if you have the Ionic or the Versa. And then in 2018, we added Garmin. So if you have a Garmin smartwatch, you can download the MySwimPro app, and you can have a personalized coaching plan right there on your wrist. It guides you through the workout set by set, as if you had a personal coach telling you what to do, which is really the vision behind all of this. Only it can even be better because you have real-time analytics, heart rate, splits, and stroke count, and all these things that you didn't have before. So we've come a long way, and I think there's a lot more room to grow. So I'm really excited about what we've been able to accomplish and what we can do moving forward.
Well, it's been a great story so far, Ferris. I know that you guys, as I mentioned, have some impressive numbers, and I know you have slides that show the user growth, and so that's all been fantastic.
Awesome. And we are actually going to go through the slide deck right now. So we'll have this linked in the bio of the video, and we'll also call out the number of the slide that we're on right now. It's about 25 slides. We'll go through them one by one, and this is pretty roughly an investor pitch deck. So when we're trying to raise capital, this is pretty similar to the deck that we would present to you. And so I would love your feedback, and hopefully we can facilitate a good conversation walking through the deck. So if you have the deck loaded up, that's awesome if you're watching at home. If not, find it in the link. So we're going to start right away. First slide, MySwimPro, empower aquatic prowess across the globe. What does that mean to you? I'm curious. When you read empower aquatic prowess across the globe.
Well, I think one of the things it means is you're serving a global market, which is important because that speaks to how large the market is, and you are making people better at swimming and better at their sports. So you're establishing their prowess. So those are two things that I think are really important for the swimming community.
Awesome. Yeah, and that's, like you said, it's global, and we want to empower people to achieve more. If anything, our mission and mantra is expanding a little bit. Now it's more about empowering human potential, because it may not be just in swimming, it may be in triathlon, swim, bike, run, and we want to help people achieve their dreams, whatever it may be. So we're going to go on to the next slide. Slide number 2 is our problem statement. So when you're looking at a company, what are some of the things that you're looking for when it comes to the problem statement?
Yeah, it's got to address a pain. So it's got to, you're looking for a problem that, we sometimes will meet with companies and they'll be solving a problem that, is either solved by other things that are readily available and may not be that big of a pain to them. So, so when we look for a problem, we look for something that's addressable, that is an actual pain that exists in the market, and where you, and I know you're going to get to the solution next probably, but where you have a unique and compelling solution to that problem.
Yeah, so the problem that we're solving is that most swimmers train on their own without a coach. And so if you have a goal, it's really hard to achieve that if you don't have access to a coach. And if you want to hire that personal coach, it's very expensive. You can spend $100 per hour to work with a personal swim coach, and that's if you can even find one. And then when it comes to the market size, in the US alone, there are over 26 million fitness swimmers. And if we move to our next slide.
And those are just, those are swimmers, but what do you think about, there's probably a lot of people who would love to get into swimming, but just don't know where to start, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So that market can expand from there.
Oh, absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah, and so to put more context maybe behind the numbers, when we're looking at the U.S. fitness swimming market, so I'm on slide number 3, there are those 26 million fitness swimmers, and these are people defined as, they've gone in the pool on some kind of a regular basis, But if we look at the different, cohorts of that, over 9 million of those people swim more than 50 times per year. So we would consider these like lap swimmers because they're going on a pretty regular basis. And then the beachhead, the more niche market, is 1 million swimmers who are actively pursuing some kind of a goal between the ages of 25 and 45. And this is like a really narrow focus market initially, but it's our initial target market. So we want to be able to expand to reach all fitness swimmers and people who want to get into the sport. But I believe that the more focused we can be in our initial approach, the easier we'll have in attacking that specific market segment. And I might add, this is only the U.S. swimming market. So globally, this is actually about 1/10 the global market in participation. I think one awesome thing about swimming is that it's global and people participate in this sport everywhere, regardless of your country. People participate in swimming all over the world.
How does it look for you right now with your current users? Are they mostly in the U.S.? Are there some countries where you're just seeing a lot of market penetration?
Yeah, so that's a great question. And when it comes to our current user base, about 50% are inside of the United States, but it's a really long tail. So after you move past the English-speaking countries, because our app is only in English right now, so the US is the biggest, UK, Australia, and then it really becomes long tail. So a lot of different countries in Europe, and Asia as well. I'm really confident that once we translate into different languages, so we'll be translating into French, German, Spanish, Portuguese, Italian by the end of the year, I think we're going to see a lot more growth in markets that have speakers in French, German, Spanish, and Portuguese. And this is just the U.S. market, so I think there's a lot of potential here, and there's a lot of opportunity to make impact. So this is our product portfolio. So slide number 4 now, we're talking about the product. And so I'll really quickly overview it because we do have a lot of apps, but the core one is MySwimPro, the flagship app, and it delivers personalized swim workouts, training plans. We have an Apple Watch app, Android Wear app, Fitbit app, and a Garmin app. And then last year we launched a triathlon tracking app, which basically is, it's a multi-sport stopwatch. It can track your heart rate in real time. It can map it out on the iPhone. And we use a lot of those learnings to develop our next app, which is for triathlon, which we'll talk about in just a little bit. I guess from your perspective as an investor, when you're looking at the problem solution, what are some of the things that you're looking for when you're evaluating, is this a company that created a good solution?
Well, I think one thing that we look at is whether we're investing in a company or just a product, and we always look to invest in a company, and something that can grow and grow into additional markets. So I think when we were first talking with you, certainly you had a plan to grow, but I think you were just on Android and launching iPhone, and just getting into your Apple Watch app. So, certainly what we like to see is a product that can expand into new markets and grow the user base and not be just a single focused product. So a real company. So that's one thing where we've seen you really grow is all of these other apps. 2 years ago, I don't think many of those would have been on that slide,
iPhone
right?
and Android app, no wearables yet. Which actually, when I started the company, the Apple Watch wasn't even waterproof. It didn't exist at all. So I didn't even think about, I was thinking about different training programs that you could deliver through mobile, and then wearable, and now we're wearable first in the thought process of developing our products. And so slide number 5, we talk about the value proposition. It is a multi-product approach to solving some core problems. So in swimming specifically, being able to create that personalized coaching experience through a dynamic training plan that tailors to how fast you are, and being able to specify your goal. I'm training for a open water race in 12 weeks, and then to have a plan laid out for you and how you can accomplish that, and to be able to sync with the different, if you have an Apple Watch or a Garmin, because we want to be device agnostic. So if you have a Fitbit, we want to provide an awesome experience just as you have with a Garmin smartwatch or the Apple Watch or any type of Casio smartwatch, for example. So we do have the largest digital community of swimmers in the world right now. It's not even close between us and anyone else, and it's really exciting to be able to create this kind of value for other swimmers.
What proportion of your users now have a wearable device?
That's a good question. So in the appendix, we have a slide on this specifically, but I'll overview it. So most people actually don't have a wearable device who are downloading the application. Now, if you look at our premium subscribers, the people who are actually like paying for the subscription, Apple Watch is a majority of that. So we're looking at like 2/3 of our paying subscribers are training with an Apple Watch. The next largest would be, the Garmin smartwatch. That's really common, especially for multi-sport endurance athletes. And then after that, it's the Fitbit and then Wear OS. So for us, more than half the user base that's paying is on Apple Watch. So we do have a lot of investment in that specific product because it is so valuable for us. So we are on slide number 6, our subscribers. So it's up and to the right, which is good. I guess from your perspective, when you're looking at a graph that just kind of goes up, what are some things that either warrant concern, excitement, when you're looking at any kind of graph, I guess?
Well, I don't think I had any concern seeing this graph because it continuously goes up. So
yeah.
I think one of the things that impressed me is I would have expected some kind of seasonality or to see some ups and downs in here, but you've been able to find a way to basically continually grow the user base month after month after month, and 12% growth in 2017 each month those are pretty good. That's a pretty good growth rate. So that's something that we were definitely impressed by, and certainly one of the reasons why we're continuing to support you, because you've been able to demonstrate that good, solid growth.
Awesome. And I guess to give some context, so overall, you're right, there isn't really much seasonality. If you take a look at the graph a little bit more closely, if you zoom in between, December and February of, 2018, so that's January, we see a little bit more of a lift because in the beginning of the year, people have New Year resolutions. Yep. So there's a little bit of a lift there, but we've been able to continue growing the subscriber base. And then you can see it in this last month of January 2019, where we were able to grow above that 12% average. We grew about 15% in January. So one of the hard things about that is the bigger your numbers get, the harder it is to maintain a growth rate. So if we look at our next slide, so this is a look at historical projecting out to future paying subscribers. So on the left side, we have historical. This is showing 2017 through the end of 2018, where we averaged a 12% per month growth rate. That's the average every month. And then we have 3 different scenarios mapped out for the next 24 months. So on the high end, it's 10% monthly growth rate, which is actually slower on a percentage basis than what we've been able to do. But like I mentioned, the law of big numbers, becomes pretty hard to maintain that over time. Yep. And then on the lower end, we have slower growth mapping out to a 5% average growth per month. And so for me, when I'm sitting trying to model all of this, I think it's the moderate growth is looking at 2019 averaging about 8% per month, and in 2020 averaging about 6% per month. And that'll put us at over 30,000 subscribers by the end of 2020. On the extreme end, it could be over 60,000, and then on the lower end, maybe around 20,000. To put context behind these numbers, you can think of our revenue as a multiple of 100. So, because our subscription is roughly $100 per year, the revenue that we make off of that. So if we have 30,000 subscribers, we're looking at $3 million plus in revenue. 60,000 is $6 million plus in revenue. So that gives sort of an idea of where we could be revenue-wise. I guess from the investor's eyes, what questions, concerns would you have looking at the modeling and different things like that?
Well, I know when we sat down with you, you kind of went through this with us in detail. You have a very detailed financial model, and that's something that we certainly looked at. And I know that you challenged us in our meeting to kind of put in our own numbers, what we thought would work. And still the numbers ended up being really good. I think the fact that you guys have demonstrated 12% per month growth over the last 2 years, right? To put in your model that you're going to be looking at 8% in 2019 and 6% in 2020, seems very reasonable to me.
Yeah.
It seems doable. We often meet with entrepreneurs who will accelerate their growth and maybe
20%.
use numbers that aren't realistic.
Yeah.
But I think this is very achievable, which is one of the things that we are impressed by.
Awesome. And if I move to slide number 8, this is looking at that same model, only looking at the moderate projections. So this shows 8% per month growth in 2019, and then 6% growth in 2020, which is from the prior slide. And I guess the reason for having a separate slide just for this, because this is really what we're shooting for. We're shooting for passing these benchmarks. It'd be great to grow 10% per month in 2020, but without a massive capital infusion, I think this is really more realistic for what we're looking at. And then I'll move to slide 9. So from a partnership perspective, we've been able to, that's I think one of the reasons how we've been able to keep growing, because we're adding different channels of customer acquisition. So in the beginning of 2018, we added a few different partners. Some of them include, Casio, the Global Swim Series. A big one that we added last year was Strava and Garmin. We were the official media partner of the FINA World Aquatic Convention in China. And then most recently, it was Fitbit. And we have a lot more that we want to add, but now it's just a matter of executing, and that's really what we're focused on right now. So we'll move on to the next slide, which is slide 10. You mentioned App of the Year, Tim Cook.
Yeah.
So that was pretty awesome to be in Tim Cook's keynote address. So we were App of the Year in 2016, and then we were named App of the Day in the United States and Australia and a few other markets in July of 2018. And then moving to slide 11, this is really the impact that we have with the product. I mean, it's awesome to win an award like App of the Year, but it's even better to be able to help people lose weight, improve their fitness, have a better mindset about their life, and really empower human potential. So we've helped people across the English Channel complete Ironman competitions, compete at the World Championships, and really build a global community around those goals. I have, on the slide 11, I have Michael, one of our co-founders. He lost 100 pounds last year.
It's hard to believe. I ran into him earlier this year. He came to one of our office event at our office,
the holiday party. Yeah.
I didn't even recognize him. It was pretty amazing.
Yeah,
what
so
a transformation.
It's amazing. I mean, he started losing weight, and it's amazing to see it happen in person, but also really cool to hear the stories that I get in emails and social media. And Mike is awesome, but he's not the only one who's lost a ton of weight and improved their fitness and done all sorts of awesome things. So the members of our community have logged over 1.8 million kilometers, which sounds like a lot, but to give context for that, it's swimming around planet Earth over 45 times. So that's a lot of swimming.
That's a lot of swimming.
Don't try that at home. And last year we started World Swim Day, which is like an international holiday for swimming, which was pretty amazing. worldswimday.org. Check it out. And the app has been downloaded in over 180 countries. So that's really the goal for us. All right, we're on to the nitty gritty now of growth. What from your perspective, when you're talking to a company and you're evaluating their growth strategy, what are some things that you're looking for them to be able to demonstrate?
Well, certainly for companies like yours that are growing through your apps and growing subscribers, we like to see customer acquisition costs that are low and the lifetime value of customers that exceeds the customer acquisition costs, certainly. So where are you at in terms of CAC and lifetime value?
Yeah, so the first channel, paid advertising, is how we can grow, scalably with additional capital. And our cost to acquire a new premium customer is around $100. Our membership is $120. So after even Apple tax and things like that, we break even almost immediately. Our lifetime value, based on retention and all those things, is a little bit closer to $200. We've seen it fluctuate between $150 and $250. $180 is our average. And as we move forward, the goal is to obviously improve the lifetime value, because as we put more money, more marketing dollars into Facebook and Instagram ads, the cost per acquisition could actually go up. So it's always, we're trying to make the product better, more sticky, and we want to improve the lifetime value. We haven't really spent that much money. For context, in January we spent about $20,000 in paid advertising, and the return on that was about break even. But there's a lifetime value component. So the idea is those people will stick around and will recoup the costs, throughout the year and ideally in years moving forward. Another channel is actually our biggest, which is just through the App Store. So if you go on your iPhone or Android phone and you type in Swim or Swim Coach or Swim Plan, we pop up first and we pay for that advertising as well. So right now, just by improving the metrics around that, we'll gain about 1,000 downloads every single day. So we'll pass 1 million downloads here in the next couple of months. And a lot of that is just from optimizing the App Store listing and then driving traffic through word of mouth. So if you build a good product, hopefully people like it and they like the experience and they can tell others about it and we can grow. We also have a brand ambassador program. So we have 20 ambassadors all over the world. Most are in the US, and they are basically evangelists for the brand. We hook them up with swag, they tell people about it in their local community, and we highlight them and we show their inspiring stories and what is possible with the application. One thing that we don't do yet, but we're planning for 2019, are these elite boot camps. So these are basically a one-day clinic type of experience that you can pay a premium to be able to participate, but you get a lot of value, a lot of one-on-one type coaching, and this is really going to be a good marketing initiative for us because it can highlight the brand and showcase what it's like to really get the full experience. We also have digital experiences like World Swim Day. So World Swim Day, we started to really empower people, in the water, to get them active, to get them back into the sport of swimming. October is historically the lowest month of participation, and we started World Swim Day to be in October so that we can empower people to get back in the water. And we saw awesome participation. In year one, we had swimmers from over 100 countries participate in World Swim Day, and it was able to help us grow our brand and our user base and everything like that. And then we have content marketing. So, the videos like the one that you're seeing right now are part of that. And we have kind of the Netflix for swimming. So we have all this content, email newsletter, and we're continuously producing content. We produced over 150 videos last year, and the goal for 2019, we'd like to double that. So to have like the Netflix for swimming is something that we're really excited about.
So quick question.
Yeah.
On that slide. So how important are referrals for you right now?
Yeah, so referrals are massive from a word of mouth perspective. So, that would fit under our App Store optimization. So if we can make the product really good, they'll tell others, download this app called MySwimPro. All right, so we are on slide number 14 looking at our financing. So we have $180,000 in the bank. Monthly expenses of about $50,000 over the last 3 months averaged out. And our monthly revenue the last 3 months of 2018 were $60,000. We actually did $93,000 in January, so above the numbers here. And investment raised to date is $180,000 between the University of Michigan, Invest Detroit, and our equity crowdfunding investors in 2017. And we received about $75,000 in grants between pitch competitions and things like that. So moving forward, we're doing an equity crowdfunding in 2019, wefunder.com/MySwimPro, looking to raise at least $100,000. Anywhere up to $500,000 would be really, really solid. And moving forward in 12 to 18 months, we'll do a priced round of financing where we raise about $3 million to convert our safe holders and really position ourselves to dominate the triathlon and swimming markets on a global scale. And a few years after that, looking at some sort of a liquidity event at a valuation several multiples ahead of that. So, Martin, as an investor, what are you looking for when it comes to a financing strategy where you get a return?
Yeah, I mean that's one thing we're looking for is we certainly want to get a return on our investment, and so we want to see that a company is following a kind of a realistic path towards providing us with a return. So I think what you've outlined here, first of all, you guys have demonstrated an incredible traction with just the small amount of money that you've raised so far. So you kind of have that historical. You've shown that your ability to execute and grow a user base without a lot of capital. You've been very capital efficient. And so looking to launch this new product on the triathlon, as well as continuing to grow your user base in, as we mentioned earlier, a pretty modest way. I mean, you're using you 12% growth per month is what you did the last 2 years, and you're looking at, what was it, 9 and 6%,
8 and
6%.
yeah.
So
Even
realistic numbers that I think you can hit. So when we look at investing in a company, and why we've chosen to continue to invest in you is we believe the numbers. It's not something that we think is not achievable. So you have an achievable plan, and we want to find a way that, company is following a venture capital path that, we'd be investing in a safe initially, but that would then convert into a priced round and a $3 million raise. If you hit those numbers that you say you're going to, I think that's very reasonable to raise a $3 million round from institutions. And then, what we're looking for ultimately is a liquidity event.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how any investor will get their money back, whether it's through, an IPO or through an acquisition. That's ultimately the goal.
Yep, awesome. I was going to ask what a liquidity event was, but you explained it. Yeah, IPO, or big company buys the other company. So I'm on slide 15 now, talking about the use of funds. You mentioned we're really capital efficient. I think that's one thing that I pride myself on is, as the team, we're a very lean team. We're trying to do a lot, trying to be super efficient without having a big overhead. But part of our growth is hiring more people, more money on marketing expenditure, still keeping the lean philosophy. But this year we will be adding more team members, really scaling through revenue, not necessarily the investment that we're getting. The investment will definitely help that. But I think the investment is more to how can we explode our marketing efforts. We'll have enough revenue to be able to hire some more people organically. And then the team, so I'll talk about the team really quick. So yours truly, Ferris, CEO, and my two co-founders, Adam and Mike, leading the products respectively. Adam, iOS, Mike, Android, getting their hands in everything. And then Paige is our marketing director. Ben does iOS. And we have a number of advisors that bring Olympic swimming experience, business strategy, and even in the triathlon world as well. So, slide 17 outlines some different reasons why you should invest. I guess if you were to make a pitch, like why should someone invest in MySwimPro, what would you say?
Well, as I started off at the very beginning, for us, the team is the most important part, and I've met a lot of your team there. You guys have been very capital efficient. You've got good people. You've been able to kind of execute really well. So that's something we always look at is, does a company hit the milestones that they say they're going to hit, and you've been able to do that. And then obviously we're looking for companies that can generate a return later, and we think by adding an additional product to your company, adding another app, growing the subscribers the way you plan to, that just creates that additional value that could make you a more likely acquisition target down the road.
Awesome. So we're on slide 18 talking about our investor perks. So if you invest, you not only have the opportunity to own a piece of this company, which I believe to be very scarce, this opportunity. Hopefully you do too. But $500 is the minimum investment that gets you in the door. You can invest $500 and say you're an investor in MySwimPro, which I think is pretty cool. Any company, I guess, but ours especially. And then at the $1,000 investment level, you're going to get some perks. So you're going to get a quarter zip pullover, official MySwimPro swag. And Martin is actually modeling.
Okay.
He is modeling these swag. Awesome. Check this out. This is a pretty solid. Does it feel good?
It does. It feels really good.
I think so invest $1,000. You're gonna get that. You're gonna get an official MySwimPro swim cap silicone.
I'm glad you didn't make me wear the swim cap.
No need for the swim cap. But these are nice. These are silicone. I mean, I don't know how much you know about swim caps. This is like the highest end swim cap you can buy. You get a bag tag. MySwimPro Elite Global Athlete, which is pretty cool. And then at the $2,500 level, you get those awesome perks, plus a triathlon jersey, towel, and an open water swim pull buoy, which is pretty awesome. And then at $5,000, you're going to get all of that swag, the pullover, the cap, the jersey, towel, and you're going to get the elite membership of MySwimPro complimentary for life. Not only that, you're going to get our Triathlon Pro membership for life as well. So if you're already a subscriber and you're paying $120 a year, maybe you're thinking you want the triathlon, you're going to spend $250 a year with us anyway. Invest $5,000, you own part of the company, and you're going to get the membership for life. And I forgot to mention, if you invested $1,000, you're getting not only the quarter zip, you're going to get an official MySwimPro t-shirt. Look at that. That's awesome. And on the back, it says swim in 60 different languages. We're a global community, so definitely want you to be part of our global community. See how many languages you can say swim in, which is pretty cool. So there's a lot of reasons to invest. I think a big reason is to support our impact. It is a multi-product approach to solving some core problems. So in swimming specifically, being able to create that personalized coaching experience through a dynamic training plan that tailors to how fast you are, and being able to specify your goal. I'm training for a open water race in 12 weeks, and then to have a plan laid out for you and how you can accomplish that, and to be able to sync with the different, if you have an Apple Watch or a Garmin, because we want to be device agnostic. So if you have a Fitbit, we want to provide an awesome experience just as you have with a Garmin smartwatch or the Apple Watch or any type of Casio smartwatch, for example. So we do have the largest digital community of swimmers in the world right now, and it's really exciting to be able to create this kind of value for other swimmers. It's awesome to win an award like App of the Year, but it's even better to be able to help people lose weight, improve their fitness, have a better mindset about their life, and really empower human potential. We've helped people across the English Channel complete Ironman competitions, compete at the World Championships, and really build a global community around those goals.